No shit.
Just say.
I missed you.
This is how it is today. This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield. How it is today on Pop Culture Minefield. Today on Pop Culture Minefield.
We owe everything to Flash.
It
He's
is
just
Saturday.
This guy,
Okay, I will introduce the show.
Well, I was going to try to talk, and everybody kept talking, so I stopped.
Everybody.
That's why I'm looking like this. Like, am I allowed to talk? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I just seized the opportunity. Oh my God, Anima, you are buffed. You'll be hitting the gym hard.
wow.
Yeah, right.
Kind of veiny, in my opinion. So anyway, it's Saturday. I see some good friends of ours are in the chat already. Penny was here first, followed immediately by Slasher Fred. Fellow veteran 11 Alpha is here, and Eastland Burkholder is here. So happy Saturday, everybody. Saturday, of course, is the day that follows Friday.
No shit, Sherlock.
It's no shit Saturday.
No shit Saturday.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, there's always going to be shit. Yeah, I can hardly wait till the private chat catches up with people that are in the chat.
Wow. Well,
That'll
listen,
never happen.
Look, it's not going to be a show unless I'm giving Martin some shit for something. Hey, Megatron is here. All hail Megatron.
What the fuck? For real?
Yeah.
They're called Megatron. I'm going to stop trying.
Yeah, you should. That's my job.
Yeah, let him do his
But
job.
I'm looking at it, and I don't know if you know what I'm looking at. So I'm
You
just
micromanaging tyrant.
Wait. So, Martin, your job is to stop trying. Good job.
We have Keith here this Saturday, and of course, Shinatsky has joined us. I know everybody's going to be shocked, so please keep yourself together. Deleted scenes will not be here today.
I almost thought he was going to be here because he didn't post that he wasn't going to make it. But
I know,
yeah,
but then I did the preemptive, like, sorry guys, I'm not going to be able to make the show today in the chat. And then I went, just kidding, because I know that some people are going to go, wait a minute, the show's canceled? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Besides Megatron?
I was poking fun of Stephen before Stephen posted that he's not going to be here.
Okay, besides Megatron, we had another new member on the audience.
Quantum Cat 76.
Oh, hey, I know Quantum Cat from the Salty Nerds.
Oh,
Nice to see you here.
Any relation
Wow.
to any relationship to Schrodinger's cat?
I never asked, but
What cat? I don't see any cat. I'm not
Cat,
observing anything.
I get you. I just lost one of my cats a couple of
The
weeks
great
ago.
thing about my statement is it's both a joke and not a joke at the same time.
No, it's definitely not a joke.
No,
Not a funny one.
it's you don't know what it is because it's one or
Hey,
it might
thank
be
you.
the other. Hence Schrodinger's cat. Megatron
He's talking
says,
about the movie,
please
not
talk
our
extensively
opening.
about the memory wipe scene in the movie. It's a fascinating experience. Well, we'll talk about when we get to it. Yeah. The opening intro of Flash really captures the comic book feeling. It was it's very campy, which is no big surprise because Lorenzo Semple, not Lorenzo Semple. I'm sorry, what's his name?
De Laurentiis.
Dino De
Laurentiis.
Laurentiis.
No. Lorenzo Simple is the right one. He
It
wrote
is
the-
Lorenzo Semple. Okay,
Yes.
Lorenzo Semple is the guy who brought us Batman 66,
Mhm.
and he turned right around and wrote the shooting script for this film.
And Never Say Never Again.
That's right. So it's really odd because there are so many connections between those three titles and some of the cast in the film.
Mhm.
And Dino De Laurentiis had previously adapted 2 other comic books to film.
Mhm.
One of them was Danger Diabolique, and
Mhm.
the other one is The Sexy Barbarella with commie bitch Jane Fonda.
He's also coming off of King Kong was his last big movie before this one.
Yeah. Also want to point out that this has a deep connection with George Lucas and Star Wars.
Mhm.
It was Dino De Laurentiis that George Lucas tried to get the rights to make Star Wars or Flash Gordon with, and the deal fell through with De Laurentiis. He just didn't see what George was wanting to do, and when you see this film, you understand why, because De Laurentiis was one of the people pushing for the camp and humor right from the get-go.
Yeah.
But there was confusion in the making of the film because the Italian crew and the British and American crew were shooting 2 totally different movies. The British American crew were making a comedy, a pulpy, campy action comedy. The Italians were making a seriously dark science fiction film. At the same time, Schrodinger's cat. It is both dramatic and campy, and yet neither.
Speaking
So-
of connections, there's also a connection to the James Bond universe because counting actors and stuntmen, there were 20 people involved in this movie that
Not just
were
that,
also
the
involved with
writer,
Bond.
Lorenzo Semple, wrote Never Say Never Again for Sean Connery.
Yeah, well, we said that. I'm talking about actors and other stuff. 20 people.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a lot.
Topol was in it.
Yep. Topol was just a fantastic actor who he was one of the big surprises for me in the film. I mean, he looks like Dr. Zarkov, but having Topol in the movie was just wow,
Well, look, it was a casting coup for this film.
Mm-hmm.
You had, my God, you had Max von Sydow in it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Brian
Timothy
Blessed
Dalton.
and Timothy Dalton, all with connections to other genres that we just talked about. Timothy Dalton, James Bond. Topol, James Bond.
Robbie Coltrane.
And the fiddler on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You have character actor John Hallam, Robbie Coltrane.
You got Peter Weingart,
Oh, geez.
who's got an amazing voice. He plays Cletus or Clytus.
Clytus.
You got
Clytus.
Richard O'Brien from
the writer
forgot
and
it.
creator of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Stop.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Thank you. Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror Picture Show. You got Philip Stone, for God's sakes. He plays the high priest that marries them at the end. That's Mr. Grady from The Shining. He was also in Clockwork Orange. Just an amazing cast.
Deep Roy.
Oh, William Hootkins is in it. He was Porkins.
Yep.
In Star Wars.
Ryan Munson. Yes.
He was one of the federal agents in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
Just what a cast. What a movie. And yes, it's silly as fuck. And yeah, I admit it. The way it was marketed, it didn't have much of a chance in the theater to make its money. It tanked, which led to other things because Jones, who was cast as Flash Gordon, God, he had so many problems on this film. The guy was promised a 3-picture deal by De Laurentiis, but some shit went between them because it ended up in a physical altercation between De Laurentiis and him, Sam Jones.
Wow.
Jones got in fights all the time.
Yeah, he had a fight with the fucking guy in charge and ended up getting cut on his face and ended up in the hospital in the ER to get fixed up. And De Laurentiis shows up there to make sure he's going to be physically presentable on camera.
I bet the doctors were thrilled about that.
And then he quit before the movie was finished, Sam Jones, which led to the infamous redubbing of some, if not all of his lines.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Did they dub all of them or most of them?
I think just the last part.
Well, there are quite a few scenes in here where you can definitely tell there's a little bit of a difference in the dub.
So here we go. Due to a dispute with De Laurentiis, Jones left the film prior to the end of principal photography, resulting in much of his dialogue being dubbed by actor Peter Marinker. So, and what that means is that a lot of the dialogue that's shot live ends up not being able to be used, especially in the old days, because equipment is so loud and sometimes the audio doesn't pick up correctly on the microphones, the boom mics. So they do what's called ADR, additional dialogue recording, where the actor is called to come back in and loop he will sit there and look at the screen and he'll try to match his lips with what he's saying to repeat the lines.
Also, you probably would have been able to hear the director giving directions and shit.
You'll also hear that a lot of the time.
And
the worst one is the bigger the camera, the louder they are. And that's the problem with using, like currently, Christopher Nolan likes using the big, it's not 70 millimeter, the other one that looks like
IMAX.
Yeah,
IMAX. Thank you. Those things are so fucking loud that you can't capture the audio. And in one film, I think it was Steven Spielberg had to put cloths and towels and tape them around the camera equipment so they could get the dialogue for a scene. It's so loud in an enclosed area.
For this film, they invented the De Laurentiis lights because he needed so many lights for this film. And that would have been uber loud.
And he was the modern version of the Cecil B. DeMille productions of the 50s going into the early 60s. And De Laurentiis, Beau Descent, make the big. Because he was a little tiny guy and everything had to be big. I love that story about the first run-in with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they did not like each other. This is why you're so tiny with such a big desk. Small desk than you can use.
I mean, I can understand De Laurentiis on this because when you're tiny, you get shit a lot. I hear so many stupid things because I'm tiny, so I get that he.
Well, the funny thing is, though, if you think about it, because it's a bigger desk, it makes him look even smaller.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of like what he should have done is gone the other way and made a smaller desk so he looked bigger. But oh well.
Well,
some people don't undersize.
I think he went from this film
Whoops.
to Dune, and then Conan. No. Yeah, he went from this film to Dune.
No, he went from this film to Conan the Barbarian.
Conan, okay, this from the Conan. Okay, yeah. Well, no, Conan the Destroyer.
Conan
the
Destroyer.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also the producer on the first one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this film.
Yeah. So he went from this to Conan
the Barbarian,
and then did Dune, and then did Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
And he destroyed Conan with Conan the Destroyer.
I still like it. I still like it.
We want to get him as naked as possible. Because so Arnold's just walking around in a loincloth and a belt.
I bet he.
Well, at least in this time, Conan looks like Conan. Schwarzenegger wanted Conan to look like with defined musculature.
Doesn't help when you hire a couple actors that are taller than he is, though.
Yeah,
Chamberlain.
Good luck finding.
But that's the thing. You got to have characters for him to fight, and so they get bigger actors. I love that photo of him, Andre the Giant, and Wilt Chamberlain holding him up. And I remember when I posted it for the first time on the group, I said, "Look, it was bring your dads to work day on Conan the Destroyer."
Your team is here and being sassy with you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, let me run his video.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
So, question. Do you think this movie was Freddie Mercury's way of stealthily coming out of the closet?
What?
No.
I didn't catch that. I was reading.
Oh, I said, did you think this movie was Frank Mercury's way of stealthily coming out of the closet?
I don't think so.
No, he was out of the closet before this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
so,
when he was. I don't know when he was in the closet. So,
Yeah.
Read by Nature. I actually brought that up. That it led to confusion of the movie, and you can actually see it in the movie that it's two different movies in one. Hence my joke about it. Schrodinger's cat for film, because it's neither a comedy nor a drama, or is it both? I heard there were two separate crews. Yes, one English. It's not just English. There were Americans on that crew too. So, but English-speaking crew and an Italian crew, because they were shooting a lot in Elstree Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Pinewood. And ironically,
and Italians are not really good with English, so
burned down numerous times. I find it fascinating how many fires they've had at those two British studios. So anyway, it was an English production and an Italian production. The English-speaking production understood they were doing satire, camp. The Italians thought they were doing dark horror, science fiction. And that is why you have some conflicting scenes. Like there's the scene where he gets attacked by the spider-like thing in the swamp. That was done on the Italian set. Mm-hmm. The scene where Kylock, is that his name? Kylock? Not Kylock. What is his name? Clytus gets killed, impaled on those spikes, and the eyeballs come popping out of his head. And I'm like,
that was so cool.
Yeah, clearly, and it was the Italian crew that did that. That movie just it's all over the place, but it's so gorgeous at the same time. It's sumptuous. It's like, okay, there are times when I just want chocolate and caramel, just plain. Keep it simple. Maybe throw some peanuts in there, or an almond. I'm fine with that. but sometimes I want that fluffy nougat with strawberry or with buttercream in it. That's what this movie is. This is strawberry and buttercream compared to like Star Wars is a good chocolate candy bar with some nougat. This is not. This is De Laurentiis's vision, which just shows again how chaotic he is. Yeah, Clytus's eyeballs coming out was pretty intense. I mean, I was 16 going, holy shit. That's just fucking like, I thought this was a comedy. Fucking eyeballs come popping out of his head. Since Schrodinger is an Austrian Bavarian name, can Anima please let Gary know how to pronounce it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel your pain, Alpha. It's Schrödinger. There you go.
Alpha, just so you know, I'm a science student, and that's how we learned it in science class. Schrodinger.
Yeah, you need to understand him, Gary. He speaks more languages than just one, so us multilingual people.
Oh, you mean he's a
we are
pretentious
hurt.
prick. I got you.
No.
Oh,
It hurts us the way you butcher names and stuff.
And you know what?
Totally
If it
get
causes you pain, I don't care.
Asshole.
It's not going
Wow.
to kill you. You'll survive it, just like having your feelings hurt.
Whatever you say, Jerry.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's so new. I've never heard that one.
Wow.
My whole fucking life I've been called Jerry. So
Okay, let's switch to Spanish then. Harry.
Yeah, but
Gerard.
it's not spelled right for them.
Your favorite song?
Push.
I say the
Hey,
way
Oosh.
she pronounces it. Basinger. I know that we all mispronounced it before because we didn't know how to pronounce her name.
yeah, it's bass singer,
But
isn't
once she says it, lets you know how it's pronounced. That's how you pronounce it. Whether
If it's German, it's
correct
actually
way or not.
Basinger, but
Okay,
always
let me
go for what the actor says with names.
let me go with this.
Good to see you, Bush.
You will find everything and anything here, Eastlin.
But not hurting feelings is the highest virtue in modern society. There you go.
I
So-
wouldn't describe it mellow. I describe it as painful.
We are doomed.
I love this opening because that's clearly a terrible graphic. It's so comic bookish the way everything
Yes.
is done here.
I love the way they pronounce Earth.
Ugh.
Like they're disgusted. And then he has the panel with all the buttons for earthquake and shit like that.
Yeah, this planet Earth. The way he overemphasizes the Earth is
Now-
great.
Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon. Alex Raymond being the creator. Flash Gordon celebrates his 90th anniversary this year
Wow.
because the first comic, his appearance was January 7th of 1934. So
Yeah, I like that on the poster. I got to admit, I did like that. And it really kind of has this other kind of like Wizard of Oz feel to it too, because all the scenes on Earth are so meh. Colors are a little muted.
mhm.
It's not until you go to Zarkov's lab and you start seeing brightness there, because they're having what I forgot their world, what's it called, Mongo is having an impact on Earth, causing the fiery hailstorms, all that shit.
You
Yeah.
know,
Earth, the way he says it, Earth.
the amount of merchandising out right now just for this one film is amazing.
Now here's some trivia for you. Do you guys know? Yeah, hold on, I'm going to do this as a question. on the show. So I'll ask the panel if they know what Flash Gordon did in the original comics. Don't go looking it up. They're cheating.
No. I don't.
Don't answer it. Don't answer it. I'm going to be doing a quiz. You can answer in the fucking chat.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Are we?
One thing like an astronaut. I'm trying to remember.
No, that's
do you want me to, do you want me to type it in there?
No, I'm doing the thing right now.
Okay.
Here we
We're
go.
having a poll.
Poll. There we go. What did Flash Gordon do before he was taken to Mongo? And Mongo sounds like somebody who's like mentally slow. A Mongo because of Blazing Saddles.
What?
Someone is having background noise.
It's probably Keith.
It's not me.
No?
Nope.
That is Shanatsky.
There you go. It's now in the chat. You guys can pick. What did Flash Gordon do before he was taken to Mongo? Boxer, football, baseball, or polo?
Oh, an option is missing.
Oh,
You need another option there.
Doesn't allow for it.
Oh,
what's missing?
this should
Oh,
be
Martin, you
the other
sound so
option-
heartbroken. You sound so crestfallen. Oh.
He auditioned for Chippendales and lost to Chris Farley.
Dan Dare was a pilot and scientist. He was sort of like Buckaroo Banzai.
Valid question, Reed. In the film,
No,
or the
there's
original?
a poll, guys. You don't have to write it. Just go up and vote on the poll.
Yeah.
Can't
Get up
answer
on
that?
the poll like the bitches you are.
Yeah. Work that book.
Oh.
What's the answer you were looking for, Gary?
Once
I'm
again.
not going to
I know.
say because I know
Yeah,
the
you gotta-
answer.
You
I'm
got to
waiting
wait
to
for.
see what everybody says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I know what he is in the movie. I just don't remember what he is in like those comics.
Right now, people are selecting football at 43%. Now, as I recall, in the serials, Flash Gordon played football too, right? Or what did he do in the movie serials with Buster Crabbe?
Oh, I can answer that, but it'll also answer the question.
Oh, then we'll leave it alone.
I'm with you, Eastlin.
And this movie is directly adapted from the King Features comic strips. There, look at the color there. This is all because Mongo's interacting with Earth. You start seeing colors. And so it has that Wizard of Oz feel to it. So when he gets to Mongo, just colors everywhere. The sky is full of color, and it's insane.
I have to at least say this. Dino De Laurentiis went ahead and gave financing to the animated cartoon that they were making at the same time because they ran out of money while they were making it. You can go on YouTube and find the original.
That was filmed, right?
Yeah, Filmation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find the movie that they made called The Greatest Adventure of All for free on YouTube.
I loved a lot of the affection. By the way, tell me that doesn't remind you of Lobot.
Actually, it's funny that you say that because that is.
I find it really impressive that he's a good guy when his first action as the scientist is basically to kidnap two random people and shoot them into space.
Yeah.
All because he's a poor designer.
Actor John Hollis, who was Lobot.
He
And The
played
Empire
Lobot. Yeah,
Strikes
is
Back.
that him there?
Yes, he's in the movie. Yes,
That's why he looks so much like him. That's
That's right.
ridiculous. All right, we've got some polling going on here. Boy, oh boy, it's getting heated.
dancing on that pole.
We got 0 for boxer, 56% for football, 11% for baseball, and 33% for polo. And there are a lot of inspirations within this story to what Lucas wanted to do with Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, without this, there would be no Star Wars. Because
There would be no Star Wars. That's right.
Yeah.
Look at those sets, man. I'm telling you, De Laurentiis loved to pay for building sets.
Oh yeah.
He felt like the more expensive the set, the better the movie.
There is a logic to that.
I also
Not really.
I also like the logic behind the robot, this floating robot. I had to watch the movie at least 3 times to get the kind of pseudo inside joke about the robot, which is the robot is actually that's actually Max von Sydow. It's meant-
That is Max von Sydow's voice, right?
Yes, it's meant to
Yes.
sound like me. And then, of course, I was one of those people that actually read the novelization, and wow, oh my!
I
goodness.
actually did not read the novelization of this one, even
Oh
though that was
my
something
God.
just like you I used to do. I would always get the Star Wars books before the movie came out.
Yeah, I
And,
read it after. And I'm glad that I did, because I don't think I would have been able to sit through the movie. There's some stuff in that novelization that just goes too far. And
Well, there's the
Wow.
whole spider thing, which was shot, by the way,
Mhm.
where Ming makes Dale look like a giant spider to Flash.
They also have the whole they imply things in the movie that they just go ahead and spell it right out in the book, and it's just like it's like that.
Like what?
Ming and his daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, banging his daughter.
It's implied in this movie.
Oh wow! And, well,
By
in
the way-
book, yeah, go ahead.
That's Brian Blessed right there, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Mhm.
Flash,
So
is
you're
golden,
saying,
alive. The way he-
so you're saying this movie inspired Game of Thrones, Keith?
I wouldn't be surprised if a certain young Arthur was watching this movie and got the idea to, but I'd like to be able to say that, but no. I think history actually had more of an effect on doing that. So
he has probably one of the prettiest sets of eyes in film history for women.
she played Sylvester Stallone's wife in Oscar.
Yes. Oscar. All upset with him all the time. There he is, Timothy Dalton.
There's the man.
He's like, I'll be James Bond soon.
Actually, he still said no at this point. He was still saying no.
He said no all the way up until he said yes.
Yep. Actually, he said yes the first time, and they had to turn him down because they already had their Bond. If he
Yes,
had said yes, that was Pierce Brosnan.
Here you go. Blessed is the king in Blackadder, and that is correct.
Mhm.
Oh, here we go. 11 Alpha says, fun fact, when I was a junior in junior high school, one of my earliest alien designs was based on the Hawkman of the film, but more bird-like. I was traumatized by mocking from the popular girls. That's funny. I don't know why you'd be traumatized. I figured you got used to that shit. I went there.
And Ming's going, what are you going to do? Say we're the white woman to me?
Wow.
And if I ever did remake this, I'd have a Chinese actor play this character. So I'm going to end the poll. It is now ending with football being the selected option, with 63% saying football, 27% polo, 9% baseball, and 0% for boxer. Keith, do you want to let them know what the answer is?
Sure, I'll let them know. It was the favorite sport of uppity Hollywood in the 1930s. It was polo.
He was a polo player.
Yeah, see, that's why Reed asked, do you mean the original or do you mean this movie? Because we weren't clear about that. And that's why so many voted for football, because they thought it was original movie.
I said in the original strip, King Feature strip. I was clear about that 3 times. I remember when they used, I'll put that back up. I remember when they used to come out with novelization adaptations from movies, and they're always based on the first draft before shooting. And that's why they'll show different, like Empire Strikes Back in particular is one of my favorite novelizations. And of course, I'm friends with the author of that one, and he explained that there are a lot of things that were different in his book than in the film, like the color of Luke's lightsaber is one of them.
Yep. And here
I always love that though, Keith. When a movie was coming out, the novel would usually come out a week or 2 before the film, and I would head down. We didn't the mall when we finally built the mall. We had a bookstore, Professor Books or something like that. Most of the time, I would go to the grocery store, Safeway, and they had a good book section, and I would go there and I would get the novelizations. I got all the Star Wars books there, Indiana Jones books.
There's just nothing like grabbing the novelization. I still say the best novelization is the novel for Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. That was based on an earlier draft that William Shatner had done before everybody else started doing things to it. And it's a much better story than the movie that we got.
Now, I'm going to let you guys know, and I don't agree when people say this, okay?
Lying.
This is the first motion picture to contract a rock band to write music for the film. People go, oh, no, but Tommy and Quadrophenia. And I'm like, fuck off with that. Those were films produced by The Who for their music that was already written. It's not the same thing. This was the first film where the production company hired a rock band to come in and score music for it. Now, they did not do all of the music because that's a misnomer, because Howard Blake also did some of the soundtrack. But even on Wikipedia, they got that wrong. It's like, because they mentioned The Who. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then one other one mentioned, well, you had Thief by Michael Mann, had Tangerine Dream. I'm like, they're prog. They're not fucking rock. That's a prog band. And they basically scored the music. What Queen did is they wrote songs for this movie.
And Thief would have been after this movie came out.
So
by the way,
but anyway, this is the first movie to contract a rock band to score the music.
And we have another new person in the audience, Paladro.
Paladro, hello.
Yes.
What should I say?
Look at the avatar.
Yeah, I know. It's Richard Gere. You can tell he's clenching. He's got a gerbil in his ass.
Oh, geez.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
I expected you to talk about that movie and the good show that we made about it, not about the gerbil. God damn.
You know what Flash said when he went to jail? I want to break free.
That's why at the end of that movie, we want to break free. That's why at the end of Officer and a Gentleman, they were forced to say no animals were killed in the making of this film because they all survived.
With trauma.
Oh my God.
If I was somebody, they'd sue me.
You know, the novelization of Flash Gordon, you're able to get into some of the characters' thoughts, and almost every guy in this film is either thinking about getting with Dale or getting with Ara, or I mean, just initially when Zarkov met them, he was basically focused on Dale. He was just going to take her because she was lighter, but also he was going to have some fun with her. And I'm thinking, I'm reading the book going, isn't this supposed to be based on a comic strip? I mean, what are these people thinking? But,
That's like Superman the motion picture, the novelization. So different than the movie. I mean, it's completely different because it's based on what's his name that wrote The Godfather, Mario Puzo.
Yeah.
He wrote his script, and he adapted his script into the novelization. And then somebody got smart and says, we can't shoot this script. We need a complete rewrite.
That was the director because it was too big. His script was huge. It was the size of a telephone book.
Well, the whole collusion between Einstein and Krypton.
Yeah, that was
so
turned into
weird.
That was turned into a sequel story that they ended up publishing called Miracle Monday. And they ended up publishing that just as a standalone book after they put out the novelization.
Yeah, that laser is pointed right at his willy. You're right, Anima.
Yeah,
now it looks like it's higher, but before it was aimed at his willy.
Yeah, I was like, that's how you brainwash somebody, by pointing it there?
Absolutely. It's a throwback to Goldfinger. That leads to that joke that I made for the James Bond Film Festival. Well, Goldfinger, now that you've got that laser pointed at my willy, I bet you expect me to talk.
No, Mr. Bond, I
expect you to be at the Bruin View. Now, something interesting, speaking of that, now Max von Sydow ended up dubbing another actor's voice for Ghostbusters 2, that German boxer. I can't think of his name right now. Because it was just impossible to work with. They couldn't stand him. And but it's not the only time something like that's happened, because we've seen that with other films. We're just talking about with this film, because he had quit the film early. Sam Jones did. And so De Laurentiis was forced to hire another actor to redub all of his scenes that they had to have dubbed. And they said it was like much of the film. So that means a good portion of the film was redubbed with a different actor. But you also remember a little film that came out around the same time called The Lone Ranger.
Yes, The Legend of the Lone Ranger.
And in that one, the actor's voice was completely dubbed by James Keach.
Yeah.
Stacy Keach's brother.
Clinton Spilsbury was the actor's name.
Who's never done anything else after that. He just quit.
Now,
also, it's an early film for who you were about to say was the villain.
Oh, I was actually going to mention his co-star who played Tonto, Michael Horse. Who ended up on Twin Peaks.
But Christopher Lloyd, this was a very early film for him, and he played the part of the infamous character Butch Cavendish. I love this scene because they're having two different conversations. Technically, when he starts talking to Dale, they're having three conversations. And my favorite part is when he says out loud, "Oh my God, she's really turning me on." Like, what, Flash? What did you say? You're not coming through.
Most guys would be very explicit in their thoughts. So you got to give it up to Flash for at least controlling his thoughts.
Keep it at PG. That's right.
I love that he keeps saying over. It's not a radio, it's telepathy.
It's telepathy.
Yeah, but that's he's got something else going on in his mind. So
Yeah,
I'd say
they were
Patron
was
definitely
the
not going to
beginning.
hire the German actor to come back because they couldn't stand him. They could not stand him.
Zarkov. He went from evil to good to evil again. If I remember right, when they're going through his memory, like you can see what was it? I think Adolf Hitler was one of the things, and then you see like a monkey. There's all
Really?
sorts of
Yeah.
Yes.
subliminal.
Glad when glad to see Mustache Man says, "Oh, this one shall
he should-
promise."
Yeah, he should promise.
By the way, Sydow's
we also
costume
see
was so heavy
the
that
murder
he
of
could
his
only
wife.
spend a couple minutes.
Because the murder of his wife is one of the driving forces in his life. Zarkov.
Mhm.
Yeah, Megatron's actually talking about in the novelization, Keith. If you
Mm.
want to address that.
Let me see it
Right
again.
here.
The memory was yes. Like I said, the novelization to Flash Gordon adds a lot more to this story. On the one hand, there's a lot of adventure and character stuff that's added, but on the other hand, a lot of the weird sexual stuff is also increased. So I mean,
Psychosexual.
wow. Look, even back then, I was just like, wow, dude, you didn't have to go there. You know?
Hey, Outlaw Bill is here.
Hey, long time no see.
Man, I love the matte paintings and the actual props for this scene.
This is a better Endor than Endor.
Yeah, right?
I remember watching this in the theater, and it was just, wow, you know. It's really good scene. Again, another great use of color. There is so much going on.
The planet of the Robin Hoods.
Yes, absolutely.
It's in every area in Mongo, every different land should have its own unique style, its own unique look, and should be able to tell a story.
See you treading into new territory. What else had that? George Lucas, come on.
Oh yeah. Well, it's for the Star Wars, but I mean, that's where Lucas got the idea. You know, again, he took a lot of really cool ideas from this. I mean, from Flash Gordon comic strips. So
he borrowed from Flash Gordon, Dune.
Well, now there is one thing.
Joseph Campbell.
There's one thing that Timothy Dalton, in being cast, and again, he's perfect. There's one thing they decided not to do with Timothy Dalton that would have made him exactly like his character from the comic strip. And they decided not to shave him bald.
Now, you know what's funny is I actually think the movie Flesh Gordon is actually a good film if you really pay attention.
That was also one of Frank Weller's first roles, was Flesh Gordon. Yeah.
They definitely made the prince very gay.
Wow. See, this is one of the scenes that in the novelization, a lot comes out of that scene. A lot of stuff gets confessed, and a lot of people are thinking a lot of very crazy things. Ooh, yeah. Reading this between classes, and I got to this scene. Yeah, it's just like I didn't need to read that. Did not need to read that.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Don't make me do it.
Richard O'Brien.
Do it, Martin. Do it.
Do it now.
They don't like it, but
Emotional damage.
there you go.
Late night.
After hearing you say all this, I don't know if I'm lucky or not to never have read the novelization.
Well,
I'm kind of glad I didn't now.
Yeah, that some of that stuff gets real just on the border, and like I said, I'm glad I saw the movie before reading the novelization. Ooh.
Is this what it looks like when you're on drugs? Just that background.
I wouldn't know.
Almost every guy is some kind of pervert. I think the only one that was not perverted in their thought in the book was
Flash.
Voltan. No, not Voltan. It was Prince Baron, because he was interested once he gets on track to focus, because it was always like he hated somebody. You know, his was spent like, can I kill him? Can I kill him? You know, he's the only.
What is up with that guy's fucking face right there?
I don't know, man.
No, in real life, that's what he is. His nose is broken.
Yeah, that's broken nose.
That's not just broken. That's completely deformed.
This is Rose Dawkins is an understatement, my friend.
He opened the wrong Necronomicon. That's what happened.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this is a good cast. It's a solid cast. And having met Sam earlier this year, he still gets asked about this scene a lot. People come up to him, and just the guy ahead of me who was getting his autograph and talking to him was talking about this scene. And whew, I mean, this film was very, very effective for younger people of the right age at the impression.
Yeah, I was 16 in the theater, and that scorpion thing was freaking me out knowing it was in there. Like, I would not put my hand in there.
Hey,
and I love that he faked it.
Yeah. To this day, if I see something where I have to stick my hand in something, that's what I think of. It's like, there's no scorpion things in there, are there?
Well, you know, that's very similar to the shit that Paul Atreides has to go through with the mother superior, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Reverend Mother.
Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam and her test with the Gom Jabbar.
And when you put your hand in the box, you see the Star Wars sequels.
Well, again, I
need the lady.
I think given what Dino was attempting to do with Dune and how far he was wanting to go with Dune, I'm not surprised that they put something like that in this film. So again, as Gary said, the thing you've got to understand with Dino De Laurentiis is he never went small. He always went big. I mean,
man,
big and everything.
The more money was spent, the better the movie was, in his opinion.
Yeah, well, King Kong thing, trying to build a giant version of King Kong for the movie, he was going to do it. He was going to spend that money. Just like, wow, dude.
And marketed and lied to the public.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you're going with Dune, could you imagine if instead of Muad'Dib as the sound weapon thing, they just said "Flash" and then things blew up? Flash is now a killing word.
Wow. If he could have gotten away with it, he would have. Wow.
I like the use of the occasional wide-angle lens on some of the shots. Man, the overacting that Brian Blessed does is so awesome.
Oh, yes. This
Warden alive?
Look, Brian Blessed just, wow. Just,
he's still with us. In
yes.
fact, the majority of the cast is still alive.
Yep.
Only a handful have passed away. Max von Sydow, Topol. See, Brian Blessed's still with us.
Yep.
Trying to remember. The villain, the gold mask. He's dead.
Yeah, Clytus. He died in 2018, I think.
Yeah. God damn, that dude's mouth is so fucking big. You can fit an American softball in there. I swear
Dude, when he laughs,
fucking huge mouth.
That's also how he eats. He just goes ha ha.
He just becomes like a black hole, sucking everything in.
Still, he's a fun actor.
Oh my god, I love Brian Blessed, dude. He's my favorite character in Henry V. He played Exeter.
Another Star Wars connection too, because he's the Gungan leader in.
Yes,
that's right. In the prequel trilogy,
he's Boss Nass.
Yep.
Oh,
one of the worst species ever created.
Yep.
Especially their language. I don't think I would have had a problem with if they had a better language. Misa no like. Shut up, you racist.
Yeah.
Now, again, this was some of the confusion because they had an Italian crew and an English crew working, and the English crew understood satire, and the Italian crew, which shot much of this scene, thought this was a fucking drama.
Oh. I just put it that the American crew understood joy and the Italian crew understood suffering.
I would say the American crew understood English, the Italian crew didn't. Italians are notorious for abusing English.
Where you go, I will follow. Yep, they're besties now.
That was fast. Still better than, oh, our moms have the same name.
Ming, why did you say that name?
Hey,
my name is Titus.
Baron comes in. It's like, hey, Flash, did you touch my drum set?
The what?
Touch my drum set?
Nope. I'm going to put my nuts on your drum set.
Yeah. That guy with the golden mask reminds me of Doomcock.
There it is. Clytus. Clytus is dead. He got his nuts on the drum set.
The better Doctor Doom compared to what we're going to receive.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, it will be RDJ and everything, but it's still the same people
and that was also
writing the script.
A complaint that was made is that Clytus's character is built up and then just offhandedly just killed.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, in the novelization, you have a good reason to hate his guts. I mean, a real good reason. And ugh.
Also, by the way, I love the hog cries of the soldiers. For me, they squeal and they're. It's clearly they use the sounds of pigs.
They had fun on set with them because they couldn't sit down because of the wings. So whenever they had a break, they would lie down on the earth on their stomach to relax.
Mhm.
I bet that looked funny.
Now, I noticed that every, well, I think you could say winged soldier instead of foot soldiers in Bolton's
Oh,
army.
I wasn't talking about those. I was talking about the red soldiers with the masks.
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're
Gas
weird.
masks.
No, but this is another thing that I noticed in this scene when when Clytus comes here, the the bird soldiers, they all move their heads like pigeons.
Yeah, that was done on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Just wow, the costumes alone just
Yeah, right.
Yes, 11 Alpha. I had made a joke about that earlier. That welcome to the planet of Robin Hoods. They just happen to have one of those things on there for him to escape on.
Yeah, well, that would be their
Space
parallel to a wheelchair.
Golden alive?
blind on a rocket cycle.
God, hand radio.
Well, at least it's not a mouse.
Right.
These are the ones I'm talking about, honey. When they make noises, they sound like pigs.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They are weird.
I like to see where Dale tricks the one girl into drinking for her. Oh, in
Her
this
name-
cat fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all the slaves are watching joyfully.
Treat her nice. She's gonna be yours.
Hey, Mephisto is raiding us. Meph, show yourself.
Yeah, come join us on the panel.
Watch him say, I've never seen this movie before.
Unlikely, knowing him. He has to have seen this.
Yeah, your joyous time has come. Yeah. He's not the first bride in that position to ever hear that.
What?
Now, did you catch that? I want to go back to this previous shot. Where Flash and you see the sky in the background, there's a cloud that looks like a hawk.
Well, they are clouds. Everybody sees in the clouds what they want to see.
Yeah, buddy.
And of course, Sander, if you yell that in the wrong moment, it sounds like die. And so they all kill themselves. There it is. Look to the right there.
Yeah, that does look
Yep.
like a.
It's
Looks like a
clearly
hawk.
done on purpose. I'm sorry, Shinatsky, I meant porpoise.
Fuck off.
I'm glad you're happy too, Martin.
Oh man.
Ugh. Dun 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 dun. I
You
love
know,
that.
Brian Blessed, to me, I've been a fan of his since I Claudius. You know. So that cast stacked also.
War Monkey is still pushing for Congo.
Sanders too.
You keep pushing, buddy.
I guess we should probably consider doing it, I guess.
Well, the great Tim Curry demands it, Congo.
Did you know Bruce Campbell is in Congo?
Oh my God.
Yes.
This shot of Brian Blessed is so fucking cool on so many levels. Right there. That's him on the left.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like he's photobombing.
And seeing this is still, it just looks like some type of psychedelic album from the era.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, compared to Star Wars and a lot of other films that had come out. I mean, this is 1980. So this is just a few months after Star Trek the Motion Picture, about a year after Superman came out, and 2 years after Star Wars. So there's a lot going on. You have to make a movie that is not only a science fiction adventure, but you got to make it stand out. You got to be different.
Now you can really see the matte lines here around his arms on the left, his legs.
Yeah.
It's not so bad over on the right, but man, the left side and his thighs and his calf there in the middle, you can see that. And on top of it, these guys are suspended with wires.
Yep.
And you just know that they're not comfortable.
Oh, heck yes.
Like right here, this shot, he's got a big old grin on his face. I bet he's not feeling that smile.
It's really crazy how expensive compositing used to be. Like those shots, just the composites alone were a shit ton of money. Now it's like use After Effects and pay an intern.
I wouldn't say they were that bad.
Yeah, not everybody could do what they did with Star Wars. I mean, while the technology is everywhere today, in 1980, not everybody could afford to do it.
Yeah, and they weren't trying to look like a serious film. They were trying to look like the comic strip.
That's right.
Mongo,
now,
the Article planet.
Now, I will tell you that there is use of the pneumatic tank that is also known as the Spielberg clouds used in this film every once in a while.
This scene here inspired one of the early pieces of artwork to advertise the film. Artwork by an artist by the name of Philip Castle. You can go ahead and Google it. It's amazing looking stuff. It's just a great scene. The scene, the way it actually plays out, much better in the artwork. But I still like it. I still like the scene, but the artwork is amazing.
I'll share it with you guys. But I got to go. It's a WebP image, so I got to convert it.
Now, I do think in the modern era, I think you could do throwbacks to movies like this, and they'd be hits.
Oh, this movie would done even better today.
Well, a lot of people have attempted, and within a very short amount of time, the irony is the fact that you had both Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon had films out in the theaters. That was the amazing thing about this time period.
Yeah, in the 70s, you had Buck Rogers with Gil Gerard, and they took the pilot movie and released it.
I saw it at drive-in. Is where
Universal did the same thing with Battlestar Galactica too. Here is the artwork that he's talking about right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, can you believe that I had that image as a candidate for today's background?
Really?
Yeah. But you don't see the neither of the heroes or the villains, so. But yes, the Ajax War rocket. Oh, I love that ship. There you have it.
Oh shit! It's fuckface.
Oh my god!
That's just what you're gonna name him now.
What?
Yeah, because that guy's face is fucked. There we go. It's a larger version of it, so you can see it closer. The painting. That was put out in theaters and printed in newsprint before the movie got released. There will never be another Brian Blessed. Anybody like him?
Nope.
And you know what? These soldiers reminded me of some of the characters from Wizards, that animated movie by Ralph Bakshi.
Okay, you see this scene here? A lot of the little people, a lot of the dwarves, 2 of those are actual time bandits.
Nice.
By the way, speaking of that,
Were they trying to steal Ming's fortune?
Maybe.
Keith, maybe you know, or you notice, or know the history behind that. Because did you notice that there's a particular dwarf that you could consider Aura's pet because
They look so high right here.
Yeah, his name is Deep Roy, and you'll see him in Tim Burton's version.
Yeah, but the character is called Fellini, like the Italian director.
No, but again, I want to point out how high these 2 look right here.
They do look high, yeah.
That,
man, we're so baked.
Brian Blessed, that looks like he wants to eat him.
Hey, is Dave there? There's no Dave here, man.
Oh, dude, come on, man. It's the joke is, hello? Hey, man, it's me, Dave, man. Open the door, man. I got the stuff. Who? Dave, man. Dave, let me in, man. I got the stuff, man. Dave? Yeah, Dave. Dave's not here. Okay. That was the predominant drug of the 70s and 80s.
Hey, a lot of good art was made because of that.
Oh, she melts.
Yeah.
Olivia March Empire.
Everybody here has a really strange death.
And now they're just on Cloud City.
Well, now this is not a ripoff of Star Wars. This is what inspired Star Wars.
Yeah,
but yes, Star Crash, absolutely, it is spaghetti Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Marjo Gortner, for Christ's sake, what the fuck were they thinking?
I don't know.
There he is. There he is. That's Mr.
Telling
Grady.
Telling Ming that he has to correct her.
His name is Zorgi. That's the character's name, Zorgi. Z-O-G.
Yeah, the most outfit changes in this film, Ming.
Of the hour, yes.
There he is. That's Mr. Grady from The Shining.
Yeah, his name is Zorgi. That's the character's name.
High Priest.
High Priest Zorgi.
Man, I've had that look before playing video games and somebody opens a door or a window. Let me get back to that image. Right. Come on, right there. Shut the door! Turn off the light! Gaming, man! Fuck up my game.
I completely agree, Sander. I cannot envision somebody else doing Ming.
I got to tell you something, Sander. Max von Sydow was perfect in every single role he ever played.
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine anybody else playing it. Like as the Usurper King in Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There was more to his character than what we got to see. And I wish that they hadn't. What ended up happening was there was a scene where he's murdered by his
courtesans,
knights. And but because the squibs wouldn't go off correctly, when they finally got the shot to work and the squibs worked, they all started laughing and it ruined the shot. Because they couldn't believe it was working. Oh my God, it's fucking working. Fucking chuckleheads.
Okay, Meph says he will be here shortly.
He will be shortly, or he will be here in
shortly. Oh, fuck off.
I have no idea how tall he is.
He'll be short here lowly,
Didn't he
Loki?
say freeze, you bloody bastards? That's what he says in the scene. Not just freeze, it's freeze, you bloody Okay.
That is weird that they did do that. Slightly off, but that's still a cool shot of him being pierced by the ship in the green blood, like a Vulcan.
You green blood bastard.
I love those fucking eyebrows.
He is still very much alive, though, after being pierced by a fucking ship.
Well, it's meant to show that he's still alive when you see him pick up his ring at the end.
Flash.
Hey, Mephisto.
First. How are you guys?
Howdy, Mephisto.
Nice to see you.
Now, one of the
All
interesting
good?
points was they could not figure out how to end this movie. And so that jump he did was out of the frustration that they were feeling on the set of not knowing what to do. It was absolute anarchy on the set of shooting these scenes. And finally, when you see him jump up into the convex lens and do the hero jump, that was totally improvised by Sam Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being on the record. It's like all over the place, man.
That's a good shot.
Hey, I never imagined I wanted to see Brian Blessed in bikini shorts.
Wow.
Man has some pretty thighs. And by the way, Topol is in the Gap Club, like me.
And then he goes, after this is done, and now, Hawkman, we will celebrate by eating out the eyes of our enemies.
And it's like, ugh. Oh my God, here it is right here. The hand comes up and grabs the ring, showing that he's not dead.
I just noticed that I screw up.
Well, I came in at the very end. You blitzed through that.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I put the wrong time on the duration of the slides.
To be absolutely fair, I was just finishing my show, and I have like 10 more minutes before I crash into bed. But I just wanted to say hello to you guys. And Flash Gordon is I've only seen the movie on VHS, a very poor VHS, by the way. And to me, as a kid, I think I was 7 or 8 when I saw this for the very first time. The one scene that stuck in my head in this movie from this entire movie is that scene where they put their hand in the was it machine or something?
Test. No,
the
it's
courage test where they
it's a hollowed out tree, and you got to stick your hand in the holes because there is a scorpion down there that will sting you.
And that's sort of that valor test. And the next time I saw anything like that was in the Dune movie, in the Gom Jabbar, where you put your hand in the thing.
See, you're talking about exactly what we talked about. I'm glad you brought it up.
Immediately, yeah. So immediately I went to like, oh, this is like Flash. So which came first? And I think the Flash came first in the comic.
Predates by 50 years.
But I'm not sure if that sort of that courage test was the same.
It was Flash Gordon.
No, it's not in the comic strip. That was done specifically for the film because Dino De Laurentiis had control of Dune for quite a while.
Well, he's the one who produced it.
Yeah. So
that's the connection, Dino De Laurentiis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though Dune was actually produced not by him, but by his daughter. Yeah. But okay.
Now I'm going to also let you know that George Lucas tried to get the rights to do Flash Gordon from Dino De Laurentiis, and he did not like George Lucas's idea, and that's why George Lucas went off and made Star Wars, was to do his version of Flash Gordon, and this was Dino De Laurentiis's vision for Flash Gordon. And so the question is, which one do you think did it better?
I don't know. It's
One's
been so
got
long.
staying power, and the end has a good fan base. It's a cult classic. But Star Wars has one of the single largest fan bases in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it borrowed heavily from not just Joseph Campbell, but from Frank Herbert and Flash Gordon.
And Buck Rogers.
Yep.
And Buck Rogers. But I think in terms of the movie,
Dodgers of the 21st and a half century.
One of my favorite cartoon strips of all time.
Meth, it won an award for the best cartoon of the 20th century.
What, Doc Dodgers?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Wow. One of my favorite that is not Bugs Bunny.
Here is another one that all of you should fucking know. And I'll be pissed if you guys don't know who this is. Oh, the Earthling has stolen my X-23 space modulator. Go get him, K9.
It's my favorite looking character from Warner Brothers.
Yeah, he's got the Roman.
It's Marvin the Martian. He has the Roman head. He's got the blood.
And the skirt.
He's not your typical green Martian that you would expect from like 1930s, 1940s, 1950s kind of a depiction of a Martian, of a green man from Mars. You're just like, it's a black kind of hollow, sort of like a black hole face with two eyes.
He has a cannonball head.
And cannonball head with a Roman helmet and a tiny little body. Oh, man, my favorite one. It's a favorite design from the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yeah, the Duck Dodgers and Marvin the Martian.
What I was going to say of this particular Flash Gordon movie is the Queen soundtrack really carries this movie. I mean, it's a full. Is it a full album? If I remember correctly,
They had material for it, but I also like to say that the true incidental music also weaves together a lot of things, and that Brian May got together with the composer and did a few things. This is actually, I think, Queen's first time collaborating with a composer to create music that kind of what I like to call the Bond method of music, meaning that you would take a particular theme and weave that into your orchestral theme and have that go
people have made the mistake also because this is the first movie to contract a band to do the soundtrack for a film. And somebody tried to make the argument, well, there was the Who with Tommy and Quadrophenia, and I'm like, those were albums first.
Yeah, Tommy kind of flowed into the movie rather than collaborate into a piece of art.
And then another argument was that Tangerine Dream did Thief, because that was the first film to do synthesized soundtrack. And I said, yeah, but that's prog. That's not rock. The first rock band or movie to use a rock band to write original music for a film was this movie. The second being Dune, and the third being again Queen with Highlander.
Yeah, and the other thing is that the music by Howard Blake actually
works right along with theirs.
Yeah, there actually is. See, that's the orchestral soundtrack. Queen's album that they put out is, I think, it's music from and inspired by the film.
Oh, okay. Because I was pretty sure it was a full album. My parents had a pretty nice, I wouldn't say big, but it was a pretty nice vinyl collection when I grew up before they split up and that whole collection got split up.
Yeah.
It's sort of very eclectic. It's from 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and everyone has every section. It's not a lot, sort of like 4, 5, 6 from each era, where you got to 70s and 80s, you got a little bit more. And it's sort of very eclectic. And one of the things I remember having, either it was the cover that was inspired by Flash Gordon, because I've listen to the song, to the Queen songs and the Queen tracks before I actually watched the movie itself, because was inappropriate or whatever. But yeah, I distinctly remember listening to the soundtrack, the vinyl soundtrack, before watching the movie.
I will say this: there are songs on that album by Queen that have orchestral music from the film. Queen did not do that. That's Howard Blake, and so you know that's the mistake.
Because as I recall, Brian May was directly involved with working with him.
Yes, and Brian May, I think, was also the point man for.
Here's the LP.
That's the one.
I think Brian May was also the point guy for when they were working on Highlander. Now, all the members of Queen get together to write songs, but you usually have to have someone, you know, in contact with the composer and to take the lead. Yeah. You know,
so here you go. I wanted to show this too, Keith. Keep talking. This is the Freddie Mercury pop album. Flash Gordon, Freddie Mercury.
God, that was so cool.
Which I've been trying to get. I want to get that one. I'm not a big fan of those figures, but when it comes to something like this, I want it. It's like I have all the Blade Runner figures.
I was just looking at all of as I was saying earlier, the merchandising in connection to this movie that has come out just in the last 10 years is just amazing. People have created all kinds of T-shirts, all of the figures and all of the dioramas and stuff that they've come out with just based around this film. Wow. People love it. You know, it may not be the best film, and again, compared to The Empire Strikes Back, this movie clearly isn't in the same league, but people love it.
It's got a great cult following, and
yes.
I consider myself a huge fan of it. I saw it in the theater. I bought the fucking album. In fact, my fondest memories, because you remember Craig when he worked with us.
Yes.
Craig Edwards. When we were kids, we'd sit in his fucking bedroom listening to fucking this album over and over and over again.
Yep. I drove my parents
nuts. I love the soundtrack. By the way, you brought up something earlier, Keith. I wanted to show this. This is a piece of artwork from the Filmation series, animated series, that has Brian Blessed's character. What was his name? Voltan. Yeah, Voltan. So here you go.
Mouth isn't big enough.
It still looks like him.
As I said before, you can watch the entire pilot movie for the animated cartoon, which is now on YouTube, called The Greatest Adventure of All. It's Flash Gordon, The Greatest Adventure of All. And in that one, they changed Flash a little bit too. Instead of making him in the comic strip, the polo player, in the film, he's a football guy. For this, they made him an agent for the United States. And he has some vital information that he's trying to get back to the United States when the whole thing happens with the plane crash. He and Dale meeting up with Dr. Zarkov.
Martin, I just put a link in the private chat for you.
And let's see. Thank you very much.
As well as, hold on.
To me, it says video unavailable. This video contains content from Studio Canal, who has blocked it in your country on copyright grounds.
Same.
I'm sorry.
You poor bastards. You poor bastards.
Go
ahead and share that out into the chat for anybody that can get it.
It happens all the time on YouTube. It's like if somebody puts on a full movie and it's
not available in your region.
Yes.
I get that too. Stuff from overseas. This is the link to the entire series, the animated series. There it is, Martin. I don't know if you can look at that. Get a VPN and you'll be able to watch it.
You don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, it's sometimes sort of, it doesn't give that channel that uploaded us stuff, it doesn't give it a strike. It gives it sort of a copyright claim, but it also blocks it in specific countries where there's rights issues and all that stuff. So it could be like, oh, it's blocked in Sudan, Israel, and fucking Thailand, but you can see it from everywhere else.
Okay, I can see the animated series playlist.
Okay, so you can at least watch the series. So share it with the chat, please. And
I'm on that.
By the way, I just saw something that popped up when I did the search for it. This is something interesting because this was an Israeli company, Mirables. They created ICQ, the first real chat platform. Do you guys remember that at all, Keith?
I remember ICQ.
I remember it.
ICQ
I used it.
like, oh man, me too. What's really funny is they had an official channels they would create later on, and in it they had the blimp advert from Blade Runner in it. But the funny part was that's not from the movie. That was my voice. They had captured from Blade Zone because it was something I did as a joke where I did the entire speech for the advertisement with the sound effects and everything. And it fooled them. They thought I was the guy. Wow. What's that line? I just forgot the line from Blade Runner. This is the chance to begin again in a golden land of opportunity and adventure.
Just don't tell me you're the guy that says, "Ow."
No, it's not me. That's Martin. Martin did that voice.
It's probably some Israeli dude. All right, guys. I don't know where you're up, but I'm going to love you and leave you. Like I said, I've got like.
Well, we got to end the show anyway because we're done.
All right.
Thank you, Mephisto.
Thanks for dropping in, Mephisto, and thanks for the raid.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Martin Chinatsky and Anime. I don't know if you guys are here or not, but
yes, we are.
Have a good one. Go watch. If you guys on the chat don't know yet by now, go watch Flash Gordon. It's really, really, really good.
He's really good. Hey, stay safe, Mephisto. I'll see you later, brother. Love you,
See you later.
See ya.
All right, guys. I'm all talked out. I need my baby nap. Kid, can you put me down for a nap with a pinky and a bottle?
I sent you and Martin a really cool picture.
Oh, where? Oh, on Messenger?
Yeah.
Who's the white guy in the middle?
Oh my God. That is a cool picture.
I want to see that too.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
I'm doing it already. I'm on it. Here we go.
Okay.
Who's that white guy in the middle?
Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, I'm about as tall as Sam Jones.
You're an inch taller than me. First time I asked him, how tall are you? He goes, I'm 6'2", and I went, fuck off. You are not 6'2". It's what my driver license says.
I said I'm 6'1". That's what it says on my driver's license.
Your driver's license is incorrect. You are tall. I stood next to him, guys. There's a photo of Gary, Scott, Keith, and me, and I look like a tiny little girl, like a kid. They're all so big.
Hey, John Smith is here. What's up, man? Well, certainly I tell you, unless one is born of water and spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. Is this a real person or is this a bot?
I don't know. It's the first time I see.
If it's the John Smith that I'm thinking of, dude, you're looking good for your age.
That John Smith was a Mormon, wasn't he?
Look at the profile picture and coming into a chat that you've never been to and just throwing a Bible verse in there. I would say bot. That's weird.
Or maybe someone trying to save your souls, your heathens.
You heathens.
If I'm
All
a
hope
heathen,
is
why
lost
don't
on
you save
that.
me?
Oh, and Megatron. I like what you put earlier about Zarkov. That's really good idea. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
seeing that played out. So
I think I started that. Yes, here it is.
That actually it had taken somehow, the mind wipe, and that he became evil.
that's pretty cool. After the whole thing about the Otoy Star Trek film Unification, that opens up a whole lot of possibilities. I would not mind seeing someone attempt to make some sort of a sequel to this film. I thought I had one in mind years ago of a direction that they could go, but obviously nobody decided to give me any funding for it. So
Here's the thing about all this stuff, though. It's cool that you can do it, but I'd rather not have, especially after people pass, I'd rather not have people's digital corpses being laid about. I'm already annoyed enough about them doing that with, was it in Alien Romulus? I'm fine with recastings. I don't understand why that can't exist in this era.
I'll tell you. It was easier to recast before you had the power of TV. Television allows certain performers to be in your home for a long, long time, which is different than film. With a film, you're telling one story that at best, no more than 2 hours.
Okay, now I want you to go back. I like the spirit in this, but I want you to go back and do that entire thing you just did, Keith, but with the voice of Joe Pesci from Lethal Weapon 2 bitching about Subway.
Oh my God, no.
I'm telling you, they screw you.
Fuck you.
They
In that
fuck
way.
you.
That's a conversation for a different time. But I mean, that for me, it's the power of television. It is. There's an entire generation that has never known actually having to just deal with more than one generation with just dealing with seeing a particular performer or performance in just a movie and that being it. A lot of us are pretty much used to that. And when you think about it, with a show like, say, Star Trek, or even a show like even MASH, you try to recast a different TV show or do something different with MASH, you're going to have people rioting in the streets. When you think about the number of years...
Which is really funny, because MASH itself the TV series was a recasting, except for what, Radar?
Yeah, it was. It was the recasting of a film, but I know a lot of people who are quote unquote MASH fans who've never seen the film. And a lot of them have never read the book, which is still amazing to me. So for them, the television series is what they know. That's what is MASH to them.
Whereas you and I grew up in that era, so we saw the movie.
Yeah, we saw the movie. I read the book. And so I know what they did different and what they changed for the television series. So for me, those are two different things. They really heavily sanitized the television show. The book and the movie are the movie is a lot closer to the book than the television series is. So I think there's room. I think you can do something. And as far as digital characters, I don't mind as long as you have permission, and especially if they're still alive. Look, people keep talking about William Shatner, but I don't think they had a body double for Gary Lockwood. Gary Lockwood did what he did, and he's in his 80s. And so they were able to digitally make him look like he did in Where No Man Has Gone Before, which realistically, that's the reason why I don't believe this whole thing about Kirk being dead in that video. You began it with Gary Lockwood. People keep skipping over that fact.
Yep.
You know, Gary is in the video, which means if he's still alive, how do you know what you're viewing is what you're actually viewing?
My
I
theory.
actually saw the trailer as also a nod to 2001: A Space Odyssey when Dave
Yeah.
is
That part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, Gary is alive.
Yeah.
You know, the Dr. Manhattan of the Star Trek universe is alive. So that's the reason why I was saying this book here, if Otoy, if you guys are listening, this is what you should do next. With the technology that you have, bring Dead of Honor to life. Do this. And for a lot of you comic book fans, this is a Star Trek story written by Chris Claremont with art by Adam Hughes. Together, great stuff. Great stuff.
I am building something right now to share with everybody in a few minutes that'll make some of the audience happy.
You know, War Monkey, that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that the theme to MASH actually has words.
Yeah, and you can't play them or say them on YouTube. You can't even say the title of the song.
Well, you could, but
you get.
Yeah.
Self-delation.
Punching the dick over it.
Yeah, self-deletion is painless. But that's because it refers to basically a plot line involving one of the characters who's a character that a lot of people, if you only know the TV show, you don't really know this character, even though this character is a really cool character. MASH was very international and multicultural for the first 5 episodes of season 1, and then it just became what it was thereafter. And so there's a lot of characters that ended up not going past the 5th episode. I think the first 5 episodes were like a contractual obligation to make it more like the movie. And then as soon as you got past episode 5, everything changed to the way a lot of you know it now.
It's such a strange series because it's like versions of it have a laugh track, other ones don't. And then they was it 3 or 4 seasons in, they completely changed some of the characters.
Oh, no. From the jump, the characters were changed. First of all, the way they wrote Hawkeye, the way Hawkeye is in the television series, that's actually Trapper John. That's Trapper John's character.
Yeah, I'm saying they changed them from even when they changed them.
They flipped the characters, and then they got rid of for the television series, they got rid of the fact that Hawkeye was married.
Yep.
And all kinds of other stuff that they did that is just so different. So
it kind of takes the edge off the character too, because going through a lot of stuff. He's not a saint himself. Thought that's kind of the point.
Well, yeah, but they that's because when they made the movie, they were basically riffing on the Vietnam War. The thing about the book was really just accommodating these two guys from very different social areas. Basically grew up in the same town, but are from 2 different sides of the tracks. And technically, they had actually met years before and didn't realize it. And so for one guy who was born with all the advantages, who decides to use what he's able to do to basically do the right thing, and another guy who was born in circumstances where he's a working man. And both of them have the same idea to just help people, be doctors, and do the right thing, no matter what. And that is the power of Hawkeye and Trapper John and Duke, until you find out who Duke actually is. Or should I say what he actually is. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of differences. And again, I'm waiting for somebody to have the guts to actually do it, to adapt the first at least 2 to 3 novels, MASH novels. That would be gutsy. And
I think enough time has gone. You could do it now because it ended in like what, late 80s, right?
81, I think it was 81, 82.
Or early 80s. I'm trying to. It's like,
but it's so different in many ways. A lot of so-called fans would rebel against it because it's not what they know, unfortunately. And they're not ready in many ways for what the men from Dover are about. So,
I think it's a matter of if you do it well or not. Because
I think even if you do it well, I think there's so many quote unquote MASH fans out there who have been raised on that version of it that it's nearly impossible to break through, even if you did an exact adaptation of the book.
Well, what about like Battlestar Galactica? Like that's a good example where it was a radically different take, but they executed it so well.
But what is buried in that is that it's a different timeline. That's part of the reason why a lot of big Battlestar Galactica fans who were actually paying attention got past that after the miniseries. That's what you learn, and they keep that going as a plot thread through the series. You know, this has happened again. This has happened before, and it'll happen again. That's what that line means. So, kind of like with 2009 Star Trek, you can let things slide if they explain it like that. It's a different timeline. You know, to me, I know that there are people that don't like 2009 Star Trek, like, you know, my other twin brother, Robert Meyer Burnett. I don't mind 2009 Trek because it is a different timeline. You can have a lot of differences. But
I didn't like it for the same reasons RB doesn't like it, which is that's not Kirk, that's not Spock, that's not Star Trek.
Yeah, because again, there's so many people who think they know Star Trek think that the 2009 Star Trek is actually how it began, except for one glaring difference, really 3 glaring differences, but one major glaring difference. Where's Gary? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're not as big of a Star Trek fan as you think you are.
What are you talking about? Gary's right here. Yeah. He's with us.
But
I'm here. Why are you doing that? I'm white. I'm not dead. All right, here you go. This is for who are the ones pushing for this, Martin? Here, I'll show it. I know War Monkey was one.
Oh. You have to have Tom. Tom has to be here for this one.
No, dude, you have to put
on a Friday
yours, Keith, and Animal's faces on the protagonist body.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
I can't do it. I've actually met him, and I thought he was one of the coolest dudes I've ever met.
Ernie? Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
Yeah, Ernie's just the coolest.
I didn't fuck with him like I did with Phil, though. But I did mess him a little bit in the elevator with Zoe. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know who this young lady is, the woman that was with him. I said, but this young lady next to me, my daughter, she told me that she's going to marry you when she grows up. So just letting you know, sorry in advance.
Amy wishes to kill all humans. Die, human, die.
11 Alpha, that's not the only thing about that. Again, the idea of having everybody meet at Starfleet Academy doesn't work for these characters.
Yep.
It just
Spock was already part of the Federation. He was he wasn't at the Academy. He was out in space.
He was already serving. Yeah, he had already been serving on a starship for years. In fact, both he and Kirk were both serving on different starships. You know,
and then on the new series, somehow Kirk is now on the Enterprise with Spock, and oh my god!
And they also made the Vulcans overtly racist in like a very illogical way.
And Klingons eat people, and they put their dead on the ship. It's so messed up. It is so messed up. But
yeah,
I mean,
let's not even go there. Let's go ahead and wrap this up now. We're going to end the show on a high note. I don't know what note we should end on, like C, E. What's the highest note you can hit, Anima?
Brian Blessed.
I don't know. It depends. If I properly warm up, I'm a mezzo, so probably A.
I thought
If
you were an
I'm really
Austrian.
warmed up and in practice, yeah.
That's A for Austrian, Martin. Get with the game.
You want me to end it with a high note? Okay.
This episode was brought to you by Shinatsky's High Note.
My ears are bleeding now.
Trust the black guy.